England is a holy land, right? If you go there, and I have never been to Ireland, but I assume it's the same. In early November of 2023, a friend sent me to Lastingham, near northeast of York, England. And in Lastingham, there's a church of St. Mary's. In the crypt is the tomb, probable tomb of Saint Cedd, C-E-D-D. So Saint Cedd was, celibate monastic bishop. Uh, the Celts, I think, missionized Northumbria, and he ruled. I mean, he was a bishop from this place. And when my cabbie was named Abby. She said, "I'm Abby the cabbie," and she had a great story about her son meeting Prince Charles and all that. But anyway, so as you're driving to Lastingham from wherever I was staying the night, you can't really see it. It's sort of like there's a little bit of woods, and it's just kind of down in a ravine almost. And then just on the other side are the moors, which is desert. Then that's the desert of the United Kingdom, are the moors. What's worse than the desert? I got sick right away. I did the hike to St. Anne's Cross there, and I was instantly ill. So it was the holiest place ever, Saint Cedd, and you leave with such a reverence for these Celtic mystics. These guys were Palamas 1,000 years before Palamas. They were so hesychastic, and just England is a holy land, right? If you go there, and that I have never been to Ireland, but I assume it's the same. Anyway, the point is this: at the Synod of Whitby in 676, something like that. I don't know. It was 576, somewhere in that era. I don't know my dates. I'm not a good historian. Saint Cedd is at the council, and he signs off on the reorganization of the English Church. And guess what? The bishop is going to be in the city. Now, Saint Cedd's thing was strategically cool, because if you want to see the bishop, you got to leave the city, leave the world, go off in the desert, go into this place, climb down the ravine, find the guy, and he's surrounded by his huge community. Everything's holiness. Everything's imageless prayer. And now, and ask your question of the bishop. You can't even remember what it was. It's like going to my confession to my spiritual father in Moscow. It's like I got one thing written down. The moment I enter the church, that's gone. Then I go to stand in line for confession, that's gone. And then I get to him, and it's a fourth thing totally different. So, strategically, tactically, that's how you'd want the bishops to be. But Saint Cedd signed off. Okay, we're abolishing that system. We're going with the Roman system. The bishop's in the city. And that's just the way it is. We're not. Now, I think it's really hard, for bishops, right? Because in a way, they'd like to just be out in the desert. But the people have not only just chased them to the desert, they've kidnapped them, and they've hauled them back. The thing is, every earthly city lives to the extent that it participates in the heavenly city. And that's kind of the meaning of the hermit and so if you serve the earthly city too much, too hard, or if you're just working too hard, you want to get out of it because you want to remember that there's another city, another life, right? Just think of it. Makes no sense. I don't know how other American men think, but to me as an American man, why don't we only elect Green Berets and Navy SEALs to president? What are these other jokers doing? They're the ultimate men, but they are not interested. When they give it all, and they live in Montana at the end. They're not coming back to show us the way or something, right? They're and the same, with all kinds of people who, who was the guy that was I mentioned him in a footnote of the book, the original Rambo. He didn't go into some kind of leadership or something. They go quietly. They need a rest. They've served the earthly city so hard. A civilization in a way is a kind of memory bank of all the ways that people from the city that created that civilization, all the insights they had about how to survive in the world and how to flourish with each other. And if the mother city dies, its offspring in the world are kind of become nomads. This was Jane Jacobs' theory about where nomadic peoples come from. That they were agricultural people spun off from some city, and the mother city was lost. And Christians, often feel that way. And I think that's the Epistle to Diognetus and the early patristic writing. Christians are like these orphans in the world. They are not in their true place. But as I said, the more they accept that, the more civilization and new cities rise around them. That's just the paradox. You're just kind of stuck, right? If Rod Dreher is right, and we ought to, whatever the term is, the Benedict option, right? Everyone's going to want to live there. It's just going to be the new city. And it's the same, right now in Arizona with Elder Ephraim. He was a powerful and profound saint. And in the middle of a total desert of nothingness, water was magically discovered. I mean, it was just completely miraculous. And everybody wants to live there. And it's always the same. You want to be around a monastic when push comes to shove. But that just means that will become a city. You can't kind of avoid it. The only way to avoid it, the only way to have a real Benedict option and actually stay, separate. Of course, he doesn't mean that. I don't want to, but is what in Greek we call avaton. You have to bar one or the other of the genders, because otherwise the fractal wedding, it just takes place at every scale, right? If Mount Athos let women on Mount Athos, then in 6 weeks it'd be a Toys R Us up there, right? It's just people would want to live in the shadow of the holy mountain. And so that's why, of course, it's the same, for example, at Ormelia. Last night I was at their little store here in Athens. Large sections of that complex are wholly off limits to men, always, ever, right? That's how you keep it from becoming, too much of a city generator. I wouldn't be so crazy to say you ought to try to become a saint, but we ought to pray that the Lord will send forth workers into the harvest, and specifically those kind of workers, that the Lord sends more truly, truly holy people, because nothing can really withstand them.
The Wise Phone 2, which I currently use as my phone. It's an amazing phone that helps you not doom scroll or be addicted to social media and other vices, because it doesn't have a web browser, but it does function like a phone. You can call, you can text, you can take pictures, you can do videos. It even has apps like Uber and Lyft. You can order food, maps to get around town, all the things that you kind of need in this modern life, while at the same time being able to have a boundary between you and work, or you and distractions, so you can be more present with your family, with your kids, with your spouse, whomever. This has been a very freeing experience for me to have the Wise Phone 2. Again, you can get $40 off through my discount code KING today.
At the beginning of Ephesians, we read of the recapitulation of heaven and earth in the person of Jesus Christ. He unites all things in him. And then near the end of Ephesians, we read about male and female reconciled, harmonized, and put in right order through the work of Jesus Christ and through the imaging of the divine bridegroom in the life of the particular human bridegroom.
This first episode is going to be free to all of you, and the rest will be for paid subscribers. Seraphim, thank you for preparing this Bible study through Ephesians.